Hi everyone. So I'm quite happy to have this discussion, and it seems that it's been a discussion that's long overdue, right?
Really long overdue.
So I'll let Philip introduce himself a little bit because he has a lot of history, and his involvement in C.Ioannina on what's happening now has been crucial. So, Philip, tell us a little bit about your involvement
Okay,
here.
I try to be brief, and thanks for the invitation. And as you said, it's good to be here, finally. And we finally have the chance to meet together in person, right?
Yes.
It's long overdue since September 2021, I guess.
Yeah.
Back then, I was the managing director of TeamViewer Greece. I came here in 2019 with my team, and we were building up the subsidiary of TeamViewer. We grew this up to 50 people right now, and end of 2021, I left TeamViewer, I left Greece, I returned back to Germany, took other opportunities, and then I passed the torch to you, Tassos.
Yes, that's when I came back.
Yes.
So when I was still living in the UK, I was getting all this input from companies launching, and I was researching online on LinkedIn, who's launching TeamViewer in Greece, because there needed to be, from my experience, there needed to be someone, right? And I said, like, who on hell from Germany, decided to come to C.Ioannina? That's when I met you, and we started talking on LinkedIn. So thanks for taking that chance and coming over, spending 3 years in C.Ioannina. And what I was realizing, and then talking about that with other people, was that C.Ioannina is having like a very rare opportunity with a brand name like TeamViewer. And that rare opportunity consists from, well, the elements of it is that you can explain to anyone in the world that it makes sense to open a digital center in C.Ioannina. And the reason is, why? When someone asks why, I say, because TeamViewer already done it, right? It's the easiest conversation. So if TeamViewer is in C.Ioannina, they already probably vetted if the university is good enough, if the infrastructure is good enough, and all of the things, even if it's not, sometimes. So that was our interaction, and it has always been online. So thanks very much for all the effort you've done. I think passing up the torch, essentially it wasn't the passing up of the torch, really. I mean, when we came back and we started creating C.Ioannina, the idea was to find people who, like myself, are remote workers, create a group and see, if we have any common problems that need solving, that is going to be easier to be solved if we go at it all together. That was, and then one thing led to another. The tech scene was starting. Best Secret came also after a while. COVID accelerated digitally Greece in a bit. And ecosystem started developing here. You have had a chance to see different ecosystems develop throughout your careers, right? So what I would like to ask, and tap into your experience a little bit, if you don't mind, what are the main elements of a system? What do you see the root?
I mean, it all starts with the infrastructure of all kinds. So from appropriate office spaces that is big enough to support like dozens of engineers. You need to have a good internet connectivity. Like C.Ioannina has fiber optics. We briefly talked about it, but it's not connected to the homes. But it is there, right? You need to have a connectivity to other European countries. Potentially, we have flight option. And you need to have also a good pool of talents, so a good amount of universities in the catchment area. And those were all things that C.Ioannina has. Of course, the flight connection is not there, but still, like, we are highway, you can reach Thessaloniki, you can reach Athens easily. And despite that, all the other things were in place. And then, of course, before TeamViewer, there was also P&I. And the investors of P&I and TeamViewer called Permira, so they were giving us the idea, they were injecting the idea of, hey, please guys, take a look into the C.Ioannina case, but that might be a good idea. it's a bit counterintuitive, but it still might make sense. So, and we did exactly that. We were also looking into other opportunities or other potential ecosystems in Germany, and we actually said that is going to be really great if we can also bring in some senior talents from maybe from the UK, like you, maybe from other European cities who would like to get back to their hometown and help us building this up from scratch, because you cannot just build a team only consisting of juniors, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is how it starts.
I think, credit where credit is due. P&I was the company that came and sort of like opened the doors, right? TeamViewer has a more recognizable brand name. That's
Definitely.
for sure. But the important thing is, when you need to build technical teams, you need to have balance on the skill set level, right? So you need juniors, but also you need medium people, you need seniors. And unless there are companies for someone to start working and become a middle-level developer or a senior-level developer, there won't be any seniority.
Exactly.
And I think that's the really important thing for me. The reason why we openly advocate that we want more companies to come to Ioannina. And I think, also I would like to ask you, do you think that that would be threatening to companies, or would it be welcoming to companies that are already here?
I think it's more welcoming.
Welcoming.
TeamViewer's brand name was a door opener at the beginning, but it still needs a critical mass of good, solid companies that makes this whole ecosystem attractive. You cannot just be one international company, and if someone would join coming here and then after 2 years he would like to see something else, what other potential employers would be here in this ecosystem, right?
I also experienced that personally, because when I was coming back, there weren't any jobs at my level here, So I was wondering, like, if it doesn't work out where I am, what would I do?
Yeah.
And potentially having an ecosystem that develops through some companies, through the seniority factor, I think gives more opportunities for people to consider coming also, even if they are not from here, or they might be from elsewhere, but they want to enjoy the standard of living of Ioannina.
Absolutely, and please don't forget, we're talking about 2 different times, like pre-COVID and post-COVID. So pre-COVID, like, this whole place were more isolated than it is now. Now you also have the opportunity as a digital nomad to come here and to do your work remotely. I think that's a huge opportunity.
So in your opinion, Philip, what do you think are the factors that help ecosystems grow, technical ecosystems like the one we have here?
I think it all depends on, I mentioned the infrastructure, but there also you need to have a narrative, right? And I think in 2019, 2020, we were playing this narrative quite a bit. TeamViewer coming here and helping this ecosystem grow, that sparked a lot of attention even in the German media, like Der Spiegel or Deutschlandfunk, so that there was a lot of press attention. I think you need this also for external investors to understand the story and to see that they can jump on this wagon and to help following some pioneers.
Do you think that Ioannina have any unique advantages over other Greek cities on that, to attract talent or companies?
Of course. Costs of living are still lower than in Athens or Thessaloniki. The weather is great, even though I heard a lot of complaints about the weather here, right? Yeah. But you have the mountains around the corner, you have the sea is 1 hour away, so those are definitely benefits in comparison to like those big mega cities, and I think that's making Ioannina very attractive.
From a family perspective, also low crime, I consider that there were a few people living in Athens in areas that there were dodgy things happening, and I was telling them, like, there is no serious crime in Ioannina.
I haven't heard about it, at least.
There is petty crime, obviously, but not serious crime. So, and interestingly, that resonated a lot with people who were young parents. They had kids quite young and they were starting their parenthood journey, maybe. So that was quite interesting as well. I consider the standard of living higher. It is one of the reasons we moved back from the UK. And I think it might be the same in Germany. I would like your opinion on that. But what was really tiring in the UK was that everything was around the 9 to 5. So it was work-centered in a sense, and you didn't have time. Sometimes you had more time than you have in Greece, available, but you had less time to diffuse somehow.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
And that's what drove us back, really, to be honest. I don't know, is Germany in the same kind of
It
situation
depends on
sometimes?
where you are living,
Yeah.
but there are areas where it's hard to do some small leisure activities. It's definitely different here, where you have, as I said, you can be in the mountain in a very short distance, or you spend like a longer weekend at the sea or on one of the islands. So that definitely makes it more attractive, yes.
I mean, from my opinion, in terms of the ecosystem growth here, I see that we essentially, as a region, we need to focus on three things. Attract a few more companies, not too many, but a few more, so there is work stability. Let's say someone can work in a few companies even though he might not like working on a few others. The second is grow the skill set.
Sorry?
Grow the skill set.
Yes.
Local talent pools, basically. And finally, help start local companies, startups, a little bit. Because I think the next step after having a few companies that they create seniors is also having a few people that they can see gaps in the market, things that are not addressed, and they can find that as an opportunity to launch the new generation of companies that would help grow the
I mean, from my perspective, I'm not living in Ioannina for 2 years now, but I can look at this from an outside perspective. I think it only needs like 1 or 2 bigger companies making the step or the decision to settle in Ioannina. Definitely having a technology park ready would be beneficial to this whole mission. But if you have like TeamViewer, P&I, Best Secret, PwC, and maybe one other bigger company that could like create a new movement actually.
Having office space is critical because it answers the question where. Okay, if someone is convinced to come to Ioannina, the first thing that they ask is where, and then with whom. Those are the two main
That was
questions.
actually my biggest issue in 2019.
Yes, exactly.
So I was visiting many places and finally found one, but that was a hard part.
Yes, and it's an old bank building.
Yes.
There are a few like this left.
Okay.
You
need to
throughout
tell
the
me
city.
where.
Yeah, but then you have the connectivity, the internet connectivity issue, which actually at the core working space, we are at that phase right now. We're trying to find what is the best way for us to get a reliable internet connection.
Yeah.
And it's hard sometimes. So, from your experience, what are the risks ecosystems may face while they're trying to grow?
The biggest risk that TeamViewer was facing back then, and I also think that it's applying for now, is you're not able to attract a decent number of senior engineers or senior talents, to be more general, to join you and your mission and to join your company. Because as I said, you cannot just build the company purely based on junior engineers. So you need to have a kind of a mix of talents. And part of our idea was that we are strong enough as a brand, as a company, as a potential employer, so that we can ensure that someone is joining a safe haven here and not like it's a mission that might failing after a couple of months and then, they need to return back to Athens, for example. So this is crucial, and I still think that some companies here are still struggling to attract those senior talents from abroad or from other Greek cities, but that's essential actually.
All right, and what would you think are the areas for improvement of the ecosystem here?
We're talking about the connectivity, right? Not only the internet connectivity, also the flight connectivity. So when you look at, or when you as a company evaluating different potential ecosystem places in Europe, and you're looking just at the fact sheets, and you see, okay, no flight connectivity to other European cities, and the other bigger cities are 3 or 4.5 hours away, that could be like a red flag. Yeah. It wasn't a red flag for us, but for others it could be.
I think it's very crucial to understand that Ioannina is trying to grow from an economic perspective, grow its economy, without selling the main export of Greece, which is sun and sand, right? So we do it in our own terms, and I think that's why the economic development seems a little bit slower. It's based on a very different model, which is quite actually interesting if you think about it. There aren't any other cities in Greece that they don't have a touristic product, that they have flights from abroad. If Ioannina actually achieves it, it's going to be a huge feat.
Yes.
Because it's completely outside of the norm, completely outside of what's happening, and that's precisely why it's hard to happen.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure that everybody realizes that. Sometimes
definitely not. No, especially in Germany, for example, I said that like there was a movement and there was a story in the media, a narrative. So that it's gone for now, right? So we need to create.
We might
movement.
reignite it.
Sorry?
Right? We might reignite.
Yes,
that.
we have to.
Yeah, have to, yes.
Or you have to, basically.
Right, I got the torch now.
Yes.
So, all right. I think that we had a very nice discussion and very interesting food for thought, where we are, where we need to go, what the risks might be, and what we need to look out for. I don't know if you want to add anything before closing.
No, I think still Ioannina has everything that it needs to have a successful and very healthy ecosystem. There are a couple of things that needs to be worked on, obviously, but I think like the future looks bright.
Yes. What do you think about TechFuse?
It's a great initiative, so I hope I'm being invited in the second edition as well next year.
Certainly.
But was happy to be here.
All right. Thank you so much for the conversation. Thanks everybody for watching us.
Thank you.